So before we get started, because we've received a lot of emails and stuff, let me go ahead and give some advice. And this is like unsolicited advice, but I will still give it anyways, because a lot of you will send emails. A lot of you will reach out to companies. A lot of you will reach out to universities. You will reach out to people in general through emails. And it's good to know how to email, right? So before that though, let me say this. When we send emails out to you, KJ, just give me a second, okay? I will touch on that. Good question. But when we send emails out to you guys, they include a lot of information that is necessary, and we think that you guys should know. We try not to send unnecessary emails that's just like hello, hi. I mean, we are friends, but we are not on that level, right? We're not just gonna be bombarding you with essays that don't make any sense, right? So when we send emails to you guys, we think you guys should check them. We think those emails are good and you should check them out, right? So do open your emails. We have analytics, and we see that a lot of you subscribe to the email, but when we send you subscribe to our newsletter. When we send emails, you don't open the emails. It's really interesting. We can see who opens and who doesn't, and how many of you, and all of that stuff. But I just thought I'd touch on this with you. If you subscribe to a company's newsletter, make sure that you're checking the emails that they send, because it includes information. We are almost at the end of October. We're going to be sending more emails about the beginning of our applications opening. So like I mentioned last time, applications will open November 6th and will close January 6th. So you want to be on the lookout for those links. You don't want to miss it, right? You want to be out, be on the lookout for those links. All right. So another thing is that most of the things that you guys ask in the email, when you email us, we address it. You want to go ahead and look at the newsletters that we send you because they will answer a lot of the questions that you have. All right. And now let's talk about how to email. So when you're emailing, we will talk about essays, but before then, I'm talking about this emailing thing. A lot of programs get a lot of questions every single day, right? We are a smaller program, but we still get a lot of questions every single day. And we try our best to answer all your questions every single day. So imagine the Kufuor Scholarship or MasterCard Foundation. They get hundreds of emails every single day. And if your email that you sent them is just looking crazy, I'm not sure you're going to get a response, because some of you, when you send essay, you literally just type your entire question in the subject portion, and it makes it hard to know what is going on. And some of you also just send hello. That's it. That's the whole email. Hello. And it's just like, what do you need? Right? What are you looking for? What hello, hi, how are you? You know? So always make sure that you're sending emails that make sense, email that have substance. And don't worry, because I always come with examples. All right. I always come with examples. So good. This is a sample template. Everybody, if you're on your phone, take a screenshot. If you're on your laptop, take your phone and take a picture of this. This is a standard, template that you can use to send messages. You're going to put a subject, of course, and type in their email, but you're going to say hello. You're going to greet them. You don't have to say hello. You don't have to say good evening. You can just say dear madam, dear sir, dear whoever, right? Or if you know their name, like for instance, if you were to email me, or I don't know, just emailing me for any reason, you can say good evening, you can say hello, you can say dear madam, or whatever it is that you want to say, right? You say your name, my name is this, because they don't know you, so you're going to introduce yourself. This is for emailing anyone, anybody, anywhere. You're going to introduce yourself, you're going to say your name, and if it is school related, for instance, if you're emailing somebody about school or something, a scholarship, anything, you're going to talk to them about your education. So you're going to say, I'm a second year, or if you're in your third year, you're going to say that. The reason why you don't say your level, you don't say I'm a level 200, level 300, because not everybody uses that system. For instance, I'm in the US, we don't use that system, right? And it took me a while to learn that system because we don't use that. We just say freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. And in Ghana, it's level 200, 300, 400, 500, I think 600 too, depending on the program. So you don't want to just assume that everybody knows, what level you're in or what levels are. So you just go with second, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, however many, right? And so you just say, I am a second year student at your school name. You put your school name, right? And when you're putting your school name, avoid putting K in USD or UCC, because not everybody knows what UCC is, right? If I'm in Ghana, I probably know what UCC is. But even then, not everybody knows what it is. And plus, it's unprofessional to put just UCC, right? So like I said, for those of you who just walked in, you want to screenshot this. This is a basic template that you can use to email just anybody about a lot of stuff, right? So you say your school name. If you like, say you are applying to our program and you have questions, you can just say, I'm interested in applying for your program, or you put our program's name for the Dream Hive Scholarship, right? For your program. And I was looking at your website and wanted to clarify a few things, right? So you can say this in many ways. You don't have to use Auntie Sarah's English. You can use your own beautiful English. My own is not beautiful, right? But you can chip in your own beautiful English and make this even more amazing than mine. But the point that I'm trying to put across is it should match something like this. You should follow some steps like this. You introduce yourself, you tell them who you are, what level you're in, where you go to school, and you tell them what you're looking for. You're interested in applying for their program, you were looking at their website, and you wanted to clarify a few things. And then you can go ahead and ask your questions. I'm telling you, there's not one person who is in the same position as me in another organization who wouldn't be happy to get an email like this, because it makes it so easy to understand what you need and also to answer your questions. Okay, so do yourself a favor. You don't want your emails to be ignored. Sometimes students are like, oh, I sent an email to this company and they did not mind me. They didn't mind you, sweetheart. They didn't mind you, my dear, because you sent a bad email. Your email just told them nothing. They didn't even understand what you needed, right? Or what you need. So do yourself a favor, ask clear questions. The same thing when you're emailing, when you're messaging. When you're messaging an organization, right? You want to go with these same things. You introduce yourself, you put your name and everything, and you ask a question. Don't just type hello and wait for them to come and say hello. Then you come back and say, how are you? And they also come back and say, I'm good. Then you come back, oh, no, that is all nonsense. Go straight to the point. Straight to the point, introduce yourself, put all the ingredients in the thing, ask your questions, and leave it to them. There's no need to say hello, how are you? Oh, how is school? Blah, blah, blah. No, none of that. It's unnecessary. Even if it's not a company and it's an individual, it's a recruiter, it's this or that, you still want to do these same things because it's a professional thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It makes it easy to know your question, and it shows seriousness, right? It shows seriousness. All right, so let's talk about essays. We're done talking about, emailing. Now we're going to talk about essay. Today is all about essay. We're not going to focus so much on our program, because we already did that in the past in the past session, right? So when you're writing your essay, the first thing you should know, and like I said before, for those of you who joined late, these things that we're going to talk about, it's not just for our program. This is for all essays, right? Some of you have interest in going to school outside of Ghana. Some of you have interest in applying for grants and funding for your nonprofit, your NGO, or for whatever you're doing. Some of you will be submitting so many applications that will tell you to write essay. These rules apply. This applies for everything. Wherever they ask you to write an essay, this applies. All right, so this is your basic template. Of course, you can add so many more things to it. If you ask somebody to teach you how to cook fried rice, somebody will say, oh, me, I fry my chicken first. Somebody won't even put chicken, right? Or somebody will say, my egg, I make it so that it's not soggy. The same thing here. At the end of the day, we will have fried rice, right? Same thing. At the end of the day, we will have an essay. But I'm giving you a template. This is a starting place. You don't have to follow all my rules, but if you follow them, it'll be good. And you can also add your own into it. So the first thing you should know is when it comes to an essay, you should always have at least 3 paragraphs. At least 3 paragraphs. This is the basic rule. If you took an English class in school, you know this rule. At least 3 paragraphs. You have your introductory paragraph, which is your introduction. You have your middle paragraph, right? And then you have your conclusion. You have an introduction and conclusion. And in the middle is where all the magic works. So you can have more than one middle paragraph, right? That's why we have at least 3 paragraphs, at least 3, because we can have more than one. Yes, we have a similar resource online that I took time to put together. So if you understand that one and you don't need me to explain to you, or you don't have any questions, you're good, right? But yes, so in the middle, you can have at least 1 paragraph, right? So let's move on. When you're writing your intro, this is where you introduce yourself. And we don't just go like, my name is this, that, right? My name is Kofi. I come from Agunas Studio. No, that's not what we mean when we say intro. Intro is where you talk about yourself as it relates to your career path. So in our scholarship program, the first essay that we have for both high schoolers and for university students is how will you use your career to create a better life for yourself? So how will you leverage your education, right, to create a better life for yourself? So this in this intro, you're going to talk about yourself as it relates to the career path that you've picked. Myself as an example, and I'm just going to pick a random career. Let's say I have chosen to be I'm doing math in school, right? My course of study is mathematics in school. Okay, and my career path is that I want to be a data analyst. That's what I want to be when I grow, or when I graduate from college. So I'm going to, in the intro, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to say it explicitly like, oh, I have chosen math and when I graduate, I want to be this. But I'm going to use good English, right? And say the same thing that I just said, right? And then I'm going to talk about why I want to do what I want to do, why I chose math, why I'm picking it as it relates like the career path. Maybe I chose math because I'm really good with numbers, right? I chose math because I love it. And this is where the question comes in. Some of you did not pick your own degrees. I know in Ghana, you apply and sometimes they don't give you what you want. They just give you a degree. So sometimes you didn't choose a degree, the degree chose you, right? And if the degree chose you, that's okay because you're still pursuing the degree. So surely you should have a plan on how you're going to use your degree. If you don't have a plan, then we have a problem, because why are you wasting money on something that you don't plan on using, right? So maybe it chose you, maybe you didn't choose it, or okay, or maybe you chose it. However, this started, or however you ended up where you are, you should have a plan for your degree. You should have a plan. You should be saying, okay, when I graduate, this is what I want to do. You should have goals. And if you don't have goals, then I think this will be a really good exercise for you, because you can sit down and start to think about where you want to go and what you want to do with your life, right? And what you want to do with your degree, because you're paying a lot of money for it. So you want to make sure that you're going to put it to use some way, somehow, right? So if you chose it, if this life that you're living, this degree chose you and you didn't choose it, then good, because you can start to talk about why you chose it, right? Why did you choose this degree? What is so interesting about this degree that you're pursuing in school? This course that you're doing, what interests you the most about it, right? Why do you like it so much? Where do you want to go with it? You want to talk about all of those things. And of course, I'll come with examples. So this is an example that I have. It's not entirely based on my experiences, but it's partially based on my experiences, very loosely, right? So a rough paragraph for my intro would say something like this. I would say my curiosity did not start in my adulthood. In fact, for as long as I can remember, my curiosity has driven me into finding interest in a lot of fields. But a career choice that always came back to mind through all the possible choices was a career in technology, right? And so you see, up to this point, I've spoken about how I ended up choosing a path in technology. This will be good for somebody who is doing like a technology course, like computer science, computer engineering. Why did you pick it, right? I picked it because even though it was never my first choice, it was always a choice that I considered, right? So if you didn't pick this life and this life chose you, you're chosen. If you wanted the chosen one, then you could try to dance around it and land at a place like this, right? And we continue when I say, you see, for as long as I can remember, I've always been interested in technology. I may not have had access to technology in the way that I do now, but family can testify that the electronic devices suffered in my hands and reached their lifespans earlier than they should have because of my curiosity. To reach my goal of becoming a technologist, I embarked on a journey to attain my bachelor's degree in computer science in the fall semester of 2020 at the University of Ghana. That's a lie, but you get the point. My future is very promising and I'm excited about it. And with the opportunity that your scholarship provide, I can achieve this longer standing dream of mine. This is, again, and on the next slide, I do say that this is not a good rough draft, right? I mean, this is not a good final draft. I will never submit this. I would never, because it's missing some elements. But you get the point, and the point is that I'm talking about how I got where I am and where I'm going. What interests me about technology and where I want to go with technology. I do that, and I introduce the fact that I started pursuing this degree in 2020, right? And also the university, right? So I will talk about my future career even. I will mention that in the future I want to become whatever, maybe a computer scientist, software engineer or something. I will mention it here, right? And again, it's not a final draft. This is not a final draft, but it's a good rough draft. It's a really good rough draft because it has some really good elements. It has some good elements that can direct you to the right path, right? And give me a second. People are joining late. Okay, in your mid paragraph, after we have nailed this intro, in your middle paragraph, you're going to start to talk about how you've been involved in this area, right? So when we are talking about technology, I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm interested in technology. Okay, and I'm pursuing this degree at KNUST, and I want to be a technologist in the future. How are you involved in this area? It's one thing to have goals. It's another thing to journey towards those goals, right? So how have you been, what work have you been putting in to go towards this goal? You have this goal that when you graduate, you want to become what an economist, or you want to become a teacher. Then when you grow, I mean, when you graduate, you want to become a software engineer, you want to become a data analyst, you want to become a pilot. What are the steps that you're taking towards this goal? What steps have you taken towards this goal? What is your plan? For those of you who are high schoolers and you just graduated and you're going to college, your answer will look different, right? Your answer will probably be along the line of, what am I going to do to get to this, this goal of mine? For those of you who are currently in college, your answer is, what have I done? And what am I doing? And what am I going to do to get to this, journey, to get to this goal of mine? Right. So you want to start to direct your answer towards the goal. All right. So for me, if I was still writing this essay, for me, continuing from where we were last time, continuing from here, and if I was still writing, at this point, I will talk about the fact that I'm very into nonprofits, and I teach students how to code, and I give back through computer science and technology. I build projects, I've joined clubs and all of those things. Because all of those things are evident that this person is not just sitting here saying she or he wants to be this person when they graduate. This person is working towards that goal. And this is not just for the sake of essay. It should be something that you guys are all doing. It's important that you're putting in the work to be able to use your degrees when you graduate, right? So whatever career path that you've chosen, right? There should be some evidence in your life right now that you're journeying towards that goal, like you're journeying towards that career when you graduate. You shouldn't just pick a career path and that's it. When I graduate, I'll become this, and you're just there going to school, and that's just it. School is not enough, right? So there should be some evidence of you doing some stuff. And if you're a high school student, then like I said, your plan will look different because you're not in college and you haven't done anything, right? You're now going to university. So your plan would say something like, I plan on joining this club. I plan on doing this. Currently, I'm looking at these type of courses. These are the type of courses I'm going to do in school. I'm looking at this program. I'm going to intern here. And your aspirations, you start to talk about your aspirations and things that you want to do when you get into university. And again, this is not just for our program. This is for all scholarships. I'm telling you, this is the master key right here that I'm handing to you. So you want to talk about these things. You want them to be interested, and you want them to be interested in your goals and the path that you're taking to your goal. And then when it comes to your conclusion, you want to bring everything together, right? This is where you hook them. You've been laying trap. It's like when there's a mouse disturbing you, you lay traps, right? You lay trap, and this is where you're going to the final hook. You're going to bring them in and just snatch them like gotcha. This is your gotcha. Your conclusion is people lose it on the conclusion, right? So you're up to this point. I don't know how many middle paragraphs you have. Maybe you have one middle paragraph or two, but this is one paragraph. You're going to hook them with everything. So you're going to tie back everything that you spoke about in your intro, right? You're going to speak about everything that you touched on in your intro. Some of the pieces that you touched on in your middle paragraphs, you're going to bring them in here. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted because there are people trying to join the session and they don't have a link, and I'm just trying to help them. I apologize for being so disoriented, but let's continue. So you want to find a way to tie what the program does to what you're doing. So if I was applying to Dream Hive Scholarship like this, if I am that student and I'm doing computer science university and I join all these clubs, I do all of these things, I've shown how I'm going to get to my goal, which is to become a software engineer. What I'm going to say, I would say something like that your scholarship helps people to attain their dreams. I'm basically going to go on their website. Same thing I would do if I was applying to MasterCard or for scholarship. I'll go on their website, see what their goals are, see what they're interested in, and try to tie myself and my goals and my words to those things. So if they say some of the things that are important to them is students being able to leverage the education, or students being able to get into the global job market, or students, improving, or whatever it is, I'll find a way to tie my essay to that. So if their goal, or one of the things that are important to them is students changing Ghana, and I have nonprofit experience, I'm going to talk about the fact that I also use my nonprofit to help students in Ghana, to teach them, right? To teach them things that they don't know and to move them towards technology. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So you're going to find a way to tie the company's missions and everything. No, our scholarship is not just for STEM students. It's just an example that I'm using. All right. So everybody is just an example. It's just the easiest example I can use. All right. So you're going to tie your experience to what the company stands for, and also to what you said in your conclusion. I mean, in your intro. And let me go back and add one more thing here. When you're doing your intro, whatever you write in your intro, that is what you're going to focus on in your middle paragraphs. All right. So when I say something like I've been interested in technology for a long time, and I want to become a technologist and all of these things, those are the things that I'm going to touch on in my middle paragraph. Let's switch, since people are confused and they think it's about STEM. Let's do apples or fruits. So let's say that the prompt is saying, write about your favorite fruit. I'm going to say something like this in my intro. I'm going to say, fruits are interesting, or that I love fruits. And for as long as I remember, I've always eaten fruits. I've always loved fruits. And then I'm going to say, but my favorite fruit is orange, right? That's just an example. I love oranges. Or let's go with apple. I love apples, right? And in particular, I really love the yellow apples, because they're green apples, they're red apples, they're no blue apples, okay? But I love yellow apples, okay? In my middle paragraphs, I'm going to talk about why I love these yellow apples. And I'm going to also touch on the fact that, I'm going to touch on why I don't like the other type of apples, right? But that's not going to be my focus. My main focus is going to be on the fact that I love yellow apples and what makes them so great. Why do I like these yellow apples, right? Why do I love them? Why am I always eating them and all of that? Right? That's what I'm going to touch on a lot in my middle paragraphs. All right. And I might touch on the fact that I don't like the yellow, the green one or the red one so much, but that's not my focus. And this is where a lot of students fail. They have a good intro, and in the middle paragraph, they lose direction, right? A lot of students lose direction in the middle paragraph. Why? Because they start talking about the fact that they're doing accounting, right? And they're interested in accounting and they love numbers and they want to be an accountant when they're done with school. And then they get in the middle paragraph and they talk about the fact that they are now taking your friends saying digital design courses or marketing courses. And then they start talking about digital marketing. And they forget about the fact that this is not about what you're interested in. It's about how you're going to use your education. So just like that, you just lost your reader. This was supposed to be about accounting, and in your intro, you mentioned that you're doing accounting, you're interested in accounting, that's the degree that you're studying. And then you just touched on the fact that, oh, I'm even doing a lot more things to better myself. For instance, I'm taking digital marketing course, and then they go on and on and on and on talking about digital marketing, when the focus shouldn't be on digital marketing, it should be on accounting. Right. So those are examples that I'm giving you so that you guys can understand what I'm saying. All right. So we know we need at least 3 paragraphs. We need an intro. We need at least 1 middle paragraph, and we need 1 conclusion. You can't have 2 conclusions. You only get 1, and you only get 1 intro. Right. It's the middle paragraph that we can go crazy. Not too crazy, but some way, somehow, a little bit crazy. Right. But before we put pen to paper, before we sit down and get behind our computers and start typing, before we do all that, we're going to understand the prompt. We're going to understand the prompt. The prompt is what they're asking you to write about, right? And people lose. Some people will get kicked out of a lot of programs because of this. The program is asking them to write about oranges, and they are writing about apples. It's asking them to write about how they're going to use their degree to create a better life for themselves. And they are talking about how life is really hard at home. That is sad, right? That is sad, but that is not what the prompt is asking you to write. All right. It's just not going to work. Please, if you have any questions, put it in the chat, or you can write it down so you don't forget, and I will answer all your questions at the end. All right. So reading the prompt and understanding the prompt is really, really important. I'm telling you, this place, I can say, and I don't know, but I think if we were to do the statistics, I would say 30% of students will fail here. 30% of the students fail here. They get kicked out of programs. They don't get what they're looking for because they don't understand the prompt. So then there's nothing to even grade, right? If I'm asking you to write about oranges and you're writing about apples, I mean, we are not even going to have a conversation. There's not a need to have a conversation because you've already failed, right? So you want to make sure that you understand the prompt. Read the prompt. What are they asking you to write about? What is it that they're asking you to write about? I'm going to say something really quickly. I speak Chi. My first language was Chi, right? It wasn't English. And so when I read prompts, I translate them to Chi to understand it in my mind because I'm like, okay, to write a good essay, to say, so is a yeah. Okay. So you see, translate it to your first language to understand, right? Don't just assume that this is what they want. Assumptions, they're never good. Assumptions are always bad. Never make assumptions, right? You want to make sure that you really, really understand what it is that the scholarship or whatever it is you're applying for, the university application, whatever it is, you want to understand what they're asking you to write about, right? Sometimes universities and all of these other places, they give you a blank sheet, and that is like you can write whatever you want. You can write it on anything. That is good, but this is not one of those instances. We're talking about those instances where you have a prompt, right? And you're meant to write your essay about or on or based on that prompt. You want to make sure that you're reading and you're understanding. If you don't understand the prompt, you can always email the organization, right? You want to email the organization and say, oh, I'm interested in applying for your program, but I was wondering if you could explain the prompt for me. This is what I understand. Is that what you're asking? There's not a single organization that wouldn't be happy to explain to you, to explain their prompt to you. And when it comes to us, we are always excited to explain the prompt to you. Okay. So come November 6th, and we already have the application outline out. We have it on our social media pages. You can see it everywhere. If you go on our social media pages, right, and you look it up, the things that we're asking you to write about the essay portion, and you're like, what are they talking about? What does this even mean? When you go on there, you kind of come to those type of questions. You can send us a message on our social media pages. You can send us an email and we will explain it to you. And you can do the same with all the other organizations that you'll be applying to, all the other programs you'll be applying to that is asking for an essay, right? Always contact for clarification. Don't just assume that since they mention apples, you can also write about oranges and they'll be fine. No, they mean what they mean. They asked what they wanted. Just they want you to do that, right? So always ask for clarification. Again, 30%. That's me being modest. We can even go as far as to say 50% of people will fail here. All right. Okay. So our first question is asking you, it says a lot of stuff, and this year we broke it apart so that you can understand. But essentially, we're asking you how you're going to leverage your education to create a better life for yourself. Okay. In simple terms, how are you going to use this degree that you're getting? This degree that you're trying to get in university, that you're pursuing, how are you going to use it when you graduate? When you get out of school, what are your plans on how you're going to use this degree to create a better life for yourself? Okay, how are you going to use your degree? Okay, when companies say this, when scholarships say this, what they mean is, why should we pay for your education? Why is it worth it? Yeah, you're getting a degree in medicine. So what? You're getting a degree in accounting. So what? You're getting a degree in dancing. So what? Why should we pay? Right? What is your plan? When you graduate, how are you going to use this degree? Okay. And whatever it is that they're asking you, if it's a scholarship, I bet you that the underlying question that we don't say this. And scholarships won't say this neither. But this is what they're really asking. Why should we pay? How are you going to use your degree? What is your plan for your degree? Do you even have a plan for your degree? Or when you graduated from high school, everybody was going to college, so you also decided, let me just go to, right? Is that why you're in school? If that's the case, then you have some thinking to do, right? So you want to tell us why you chose the path that you chose, or how, even if you didn't choose it, how are you going to use it to better your life? Why should we pay? Because if you don't have any plans, you're pursuing I don't know, architecture, but you're not even interested in it, and your plan is to become a footballer after school, then why do you even want people to pay? Why do you want somebody to pay for your architecture degree? You're not even going to use it, right? So why do you want them to pay? So you want to make sure that you're explaining yourself. You're telling us how you're going to leverage your education, right? How you're going to use it to create a better life for yourself. All right. So some of you don't know, and that is okay. Sometimes it takes a really long time to figure out, and especially for those of you who didn't choose your degree and the degree kind of just chose you, right? If it just chose you and you kind of went along with it, then it gets harder to know what you're going to do with this degree. Or sometimes you chose it, but it's not really you who chose it. It's like your parents told you to do this degree, so, or a friend told you to do. In those instances, you probably don't know how you're going to use it, right? And it starts to become a problem. So this is what you want to do. You want to sit down and think about, you know, what you can do with the degree. Look at the career paths out there. So if you're doing accounting, look at what people who got accounting degrees are doing with their degree. And we all have the same access to the same internet and the same google.com platform, right? We can all just go on there and we can search career paths for accounting. You can, whatever your degree is, career path for computer science students, career path for accounting students, career path for architecture students. And you can start to look at all the different career paths out there. And even if this is not for essay, it's something that you should do, because you should have a plan for your degree, right? Forget scholarship, forget essay, forget everything. You should know what you're doing with your degree. There's no reason why you should graduate and get a degree, a bachelor's degree, a 4-year degree, and not be able to use that degree. That degree should be a leverage. You should be using it as a leverage to create a life for yourself. So scholarship and everything aside, you should go online. If you don't know already what your career path is or your career plan is, you should search the different areas that people are going into, the different paths that you can take with your degree, and you should find one that interests you and focus on there and start to work towards it. Okay, if somebody writes an essay and they say I'm getting a degree in I don't know, zoology. That's a real degree, zoology. I'm getting a degree in zoology, and I this is my path and this is my plan to go towards it, right? Even if the person expresses that they initially didn't find interest in it, but now they are interested in it, and this is this is the path they've chosen, and they explain why they chose it. That's a good essay, right? That is a good essay. You don't need to be a goody two shoes. You just tell your story, and you tell your story by answering some questions. What is the career path that you've chosen? And if you haven't already made action towards it, what are some actions that you're going to make towards it? So today, if you find out that with your degree, you can become, let's say, data scientist, or you can become a data analyst, then what is the plan? What plan are you going to take towards it? Are you going to start taking some courses online? Are you going to start engaging in data science communities? Are you going to start joining clubs like that so that you can talk to people? Are you going to start, I don't know, but tell us how you're going to get there. You have this goal, how are you going to get there? Again, some of you will need to do some soul searching because you don't know what you're doing. All you know is you're getting this 4-year degree, and that's all you know. So some of you are going to do, again, some soul searching, right? Because it's not even about the scholarship. Whether or not you get the scholarship, every single one of you should have a plan for the degree that you're going to get, right? You should have a plan for the degree that you're going to get. There's no reason why you should waste time and money to go to school for 4 or more years and get a degree and just use it to decorate. Degrees are not decorations, right? You should be getting them because they can help you to create a better life for yourself. Sometimes you ask students to talk about their degrees and they say, oh, I'm pursuing nursing, but I've started a kelewele business. That's good. That is perfect. But so why should we pay for a nursing degree? Because it seems like you already have your goal, which is to sell kelewele full time. So why are you getting the nursing degree? It doesn't make sense, right? So start to think about all of those things. You can look online to find opportunities in all of these things, okay? All right. So let's understand what we are looking for. Scholarship programs and universities and all of these things. When it comes to essay writing, the people who are requesting the essay, they're looking for a front row seat in your thoughts. They want to understand your thought process. They want to understand your plans, right? They want you to let them know, if it's a scholarship, why they should pay your fees. What are your plans? What is so exciting about your plans? What have you done towards this plan? And what is your plan going forward? All right. They want to know all of those things. They want to know your dreams and your aspirations and all of these things. What your education will enable you to do. Those are the things that they want to know, right? And so if you miss these things, your chances of getting it is just getting lesser and lesser, right? So right now, what we've done is we've understood the prompt. This is like the first step. We just finished the first step. We've understood the prompt. We know that they're asking us to talk about our degree. We know that they're asking us to tell them what plans we're making, towards leveraging our degree to create a better life. We know that they're asking us all of these things. All right. So now we're going to plan the essay. All right. We're going to, and I will touch on the second and the third essay that we have, because we don't have just one essay. But I'm focusing on this first essay because it's like a huge one, right? It's a really big essay. And so now that we understand the prompt and what they're asking us for, we're going to plan our essay, right? So we're going to, give me a second, somebody wants to join. Right, we're going to start to write a rough draft, right? And for those of you who don't know, a rough draft is just the writing that you do before the final one. So this is where you kind of like put down some ideas. You're just putting down some ideas. It's really rough. It's not what you're going to submit. It's just putting down some ideas, and then you're gonna use these ideas to write something better, or you're going to edit it till it's perfect, right? So I don't know, sometimes those people who make pots and things out of clay, they put the clay down and then they start molding it, right? So rough draft is like you put the clay down, you put the water on there. The molding is where you start to edit and do things and put things into play. And then finally you have a beautiful pot or beautiful, I don't know, earthenware or something, right? And that will be your final draft. All right. So in planning, you're going to identify, you're going to say, okay, I need at least 3 paragraphs. All right. Sometimes you end up with more paragraphs than you thought, and that's good, right? But you're going to, I need 3 in the intro. This is what I want to talk about. In the middle, I could talk about this, I could talk about that, I could talk about that. In the conclusion, these are the things I want to touch on. And this will give you a good it will give you a good path to follow, right? It'll give you a good direction to follow. Now, let's talk about some things. When you're writing your essay, you want to tell your story. You want to tell your story, right? Your story is your power, and you want to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable doesn't mean being sad. That is a misconception. Being vulnerable does not necessarily mean being sad. If that was the case, then somebody who, excuse me to say, and God forbid all this for all of you, somebody who has a parent who is dead will always win a scholarship over somebody who doesn't have a dead parent, if that was the case. But that's not the case, right? That's not the case. Being vulnerable just means opening up yourself and just sharing, right? And sometimes people feel like they need to tell such sad stories. That's not what it's about here. If you have a sad story, good, but you don't have to fish out for a sad story just because. That's not what it's about, right? You just want to tell your story. Just give the reader a way into your thoughts, right? And make it easier. That makes it easier to empathize or sympathize, with you, as a reader. Okay. All right. So when you're explaining things, this is really good for, especially for the last essay, for all of them, but for the last essay, we ask about your family situation. And some of you, because we did not explicitly say 500 words or more, they're going to just put things like they're just going to write one liners and all of these things. No, when you're writing an essay, you always want to avoid one liners, one sentences. No, you don't want to. If it's an essay and they ask you, how are you don't want to say good. I promise you. You don't want to say good. You want to explain why you're doing well, right? Trust me, you don't want to. And this is a tip that I've kept with me for a long, long time. Essays, when it comes to essays and applications and all of these things, every single question is an essay. All right. Every single question is an essay. So if they're asking, how are you? It's an essay. It's not, I'm fine. That is not it, right? You want to be thorough with your answers. When you're giving your answers, you want to give details, not too many details, right? So maybe let's come back to the apple example. Let's say I'm writing about the fact that I love yellow apples, and I just want to just touch on the fact that I hate green apples. I'm going to give some details as to why I don't like green apples, but I'm not going to go off the tangent and just keep talking and on and on. And there was this one time I ate green apples and it almost choked me and I hate it. And then we had to bring a pastor and he was praying and then I was crying. That's too much. You want to give details, but we don't want to hear a Kuma Wood movie. Okay, we just give enough details. Just make it clear enough. We're not here to write scripts and make Hollywood movies and Bollywood. No, we just want few details, right? Just give some details so that your answer is thorough. You're giving enough details for us to understand what it is that you're saying. All right. All right, so let's talk about when this time we're beginning the writing process. We've done this draft, rough draft, we've given some details, and now we're really about to write. Ghanaian students have this notion, I think it's an African thing, because it affects all of us. We have this notion that we need to use huge words, big words. You tell Ghanaian students, write essay, no, they pick up a dictionary. They want to discombobulate. Hey, no, we don't need any of those big words. It's really unnecessary. They just have to pick all the big words in the dictionary and just put it together. And you just have a word buffet. Word buffet, that's what they're going to submit. And you can't even understand what the essay is saying because the words don't even make sense. Like it was a discombobulated, flamboyant. Hey, no, relax. Keep it simple. Keep it really, really simple. There is no need for the big, huge words. If you have to use big words, that's good. Showcase your thing. When you submit your essay, they will find a dictionary and understand your essay, I'm sure. But you don't have to. If you're here and you just speak plain, simple English, that's fine. I'm with you. I don't know big words myself. Okay? So keep it simple. Avoid all the unnecessary big words. All right? All that matters when you're writing essay is your grammar. Is the grammar. It's understanding the prompt. Having a good essay does not really depend on the big words. Because if you misunderstand the prompt and your grammar is bad, it really doesn't matter what you said. It's a bad essay. Right? So if you do everything right, you understand the prompts, you're following, you're writing it really perfectly. It doesn't really matter the words you use. Your grammar is perfect. That's even better, right? So don't lose focus. Don't go and grab your Oxford dictionary. Some of you finish this and go grab Oxford dictionary. Oh, come on. You don't need any of that. That's unnecessary. Keep it simple. All right. Let's talk about the second essay. The second challenge, the second essay is about overcoming challenges. That's what we ask. We ask you to talk about a challenge that you overcame, how you overcame it, and all of those things. It doesn't have to be over the top. Some of you would tell some crazy story, right? When they tell you to talk about challenges that you overcame, I don't know if it's real or fake, but some of you will try to be so interesting. You want to write captivating stories, and then they will tell you some story. You don't need to do any. Please just be simple, right? Just be simple. All right. Just tell your story how it is. You don't have to be over the top and dramatic. It doesn't have to be any of that. Just be honest, right? Avoid, some common topics. Some people will touch on the fact that, there was a time when I was in high school and I made 97 on an exam and I didn't get 100. So I was crying, 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 crying. And then I studied and then I got 100. That's boring. I'm being honest with you guys. That is a boring story with no substance. Yes, there's a challenge. Challenge was the fact that you didn't get 100, but that is an overachiever nonsense. That is boring. That is not a story. That's not a winning story. And just talk about your life. Look into your life. What are some challenges that you've had, and what was the journey? How did you get over that? Right? What is the challenge? It doesn't even have to be school related. It doesn't have to be life related. You pick. The challenge could have been something school related. It could be something life related, but it doesn't have to necessarily be. Just because we're a scholarship program doesn't mean you have to come to us with all the crazy, mind-blowing stories, right? That's not it. You just have to tell us a challenge, right? We're not looking for the perfect story here. This is not it's not a movie writing or script writing audition. We're not looking for the scariest story or the romantic story or anything. We're just here to look for a story. And just tell yours, right? So when it comes to these type of things, when it comes to writing about a challenge, you always want to hit these four spots. There are these four spots that you always want to hit. You always want to talk about the situation. This is called the STAR method. And this is used for interviewing as well. This is really good when you go to interviews and they ask you a question, you want to kind of follow the same thing. And we use the same thing when writing essays, right? So I want to talk about the situation. What is the situation? Maybe when you went to university, you didn't get a room on campus your first year, and you were living 2 hours away from the campus. That's a challenge, right? So I'm going to talk about the situation. I'm going to give context, right? I'm going to give some details. What happened? Why didn't I even get a room on campus, right? And now I'm off campus, all right? So then I'm going to describe what I did. I didn't get a room on campus, so what did I do? I went to live off of campus and it was so hard, and then I'm going to talk about action. So how was I getting to campus every day? Now I live 2 hours away. How am I getting on campus every single day? You're going to talk about all of those things, and then you're going to talk about the results. And as a result, people always forget the result. They always talk about the situation, what they had to do, the actions that they took, and then they forget the results. And so what? This result is the and so what? You know how sometimes you're talking to somebody and they are really not interested and they go like, and so what? And then you're standing there looking like a fool. This result section is the and so what, right? So and so what? Yeah, you're living off of campus, or you were poor first year, you didn't have food, water, and you did it. So what? You want to close it off. You don't want to miss one of these parts. This is really important. This STAR method is really, really important. You want to make sure that you're using it. And like I said, this is not just for our scholarship or our program. It's for all of your essays. And this one is also for interviews. This STAR method is really good for interviews as well. So let's give some general tips before we move on. Some of you are so used to saying certain words that are not clean. We are all adults here, so I'm going to mention some of them. Words like shit, words like fucking, words like, I don't even know, dumbass, I don't know, some crazy words. Avoid profanity. When you're writing your essays, you want to be professional. Those words are not professional. Nigga, all of them, unprofessional. Unprofessional. You want to avoid all sorts of profanity. Even gay is considered profanity when you're applying to something outside of Ghana. Ghana, we are relaxed. We just say anything, do anything. But when you're applying outside of Ghana, you have to be very, very watchful. Very, very watchful. Words like facts and all of these things, if you're describing somebody else, that could be seen as a bad word, right? That could cost you. So you want to read the room. You want to be very, very careful when you're applying. You want to avoid shorthand. When you're writing, you don't want to say BRB for be right back or something. Just avoid shorthand. Some of you, when you're writing, you put CUD or something for code. That's supposed to be COULD, right? You're just used to typing shorthand so much that you start typing shorthand on your essays. Don't do that. You want to be professional, right? And this, when you're writing essays, it's all about you. You're here to talk about you, not somebody else. So talk about yourself, explain your points. You were struggling in school. Why? Why were you struggling in school? Why? And how did you even get over that struggle? You want to give some explanations around the things that you're saying, right? And I don't, like I mentioned before, people think that to win scholarships or to win awards, you have to have a sad story. No, you do not. You do not. And I give you an example. When I was in high school, there was a scholarship. Coca-Cola has a scholarship. It's $20,000. And we were all applying for it. There's a girl who got pregnant when she was 15. And we all thought surely she's going to win because she has the saddest story ever. I mean, she got pregnant at 15. She's still going to school, doing her thing. She didn't win. Somebody else who did not, we didn't even know if she had any challenges in her life. She won because she just wrote a perfect story. It's not about a sad story. It's about who follows the instructions and who writes a good story, right? So please, you can tell sad story, but if you miss all the other elements, your story isn't really going to matter. All right. And when you're writing, be positive. It's not always sad, sad, sad. If you have a sad stories are good because emotional appeal is powerful. Sometimes people are selected not because their essay is like, it has big words and all of these things, but because their story just hooks you and you just can't stop thinking about it even when you go to bed, right? So emotional appeal is powerful. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have a sad story, you don't have to go out there and fish for one, right? So sometimes being positive is also a good thing. Light, funny stories are also good. Some essays, you get them and you're like, wow, this challenge is funny. The challenges that they describe, you can't help but laugh. It's sad a little bit, but it's so funny. You want to be interesting. Again, emotional appeal is important, right? When you're writing essays, emotional appeal is important, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to always talk about death. Oh, this person died in my family. No, it doesn't always have to be like that, right? There are many ways to kill a cat. I think that's what we say in Ghana, right? That there are many ways to kill a cat, right? Having a good format and a plan, right, is also good for an essay. And we've spoken about this. We spoke about this a few seconds or minutes ago. All right. If you already have an essay, let's say you apply to MasterCard or something, so you have an essay, you can reuse essays. Okay, you can reuse your essays. You just have to tailor your essay to this scholarship too. So you have to make sure that your essay touches on all the parts of this, what the scholarship is asking, all the parts of the prompt. So if you've written essays in the past, sometimes you all do it. We recycle essays. You just sit down and look at the essay and look at some of the elements that really match this scholarship program or this program that you're applying to. You pick those elements and you add a few things to it and you submit it. So yes, you can reuse. You don't always have to rewrite all the time. If you want to rewrite, that is really good too, because that's a customized essay that is fit for this program that you're applying to. That is also good. But I'm just saying that if you already have an essay, that it's okay to reuse it. So let's talk about when we're done. We're done writing our essay. We have emotional appeal. We're not talking about crazy stories. We're having interesting stories, all of these things. All right. First thing you want to do is you want to edit your essay. All right. Some of you have really amazing friends and really amazing people in your life who are really good with the English language. They know English really well. And by the way, speaking English and writing English are two different things. Some people can speak, but they cannot write anything. They're really bad when it comes to writing. When they write, it makes no sense. So just because you see some white guy in your neighborhood and they come, it does not mean that they know how to write. Because I schooled in the US and white people also fail English classes. You will be surprised, okay? They fail English and reading. So please, just because somebody speaks English does not necessarily mean that they could the English language. Some people don't speak it well, but they can really write. English. So if you have somebody like that who can who can edit your essay for you, you can give your essay to them and tell them to edit it. I've never had somebody like that. So let me tell you what I do. All right. I always finish my essay in advance, and I recommend that you finish your essay in advance. Don't sit there till the deadline. Deadline is January 6th. Some of you are going to sit there till January 5th. You're going to celebrate Christmas, do all of these things. January 4th, January 6th, or 5th. Some of you are even so like, you're bold. You're going to start on January 6th and you're going to sit there going crazy. No, you want to go ahead and start your essay early. Start it early. Write it in advance. Finish it. If you don't have anybody to edit your essay, this is what you do. You let your essay sit for some time. So you finish the essay, let's say by now, you're done. You're going to let it sit for some time. In a week, just forget about it. In a week, you pick it up. You have fresh set of eyes. When you look at that essay, when you start to read it, you have a pen in hand. You're going to see so many mistakes that you need to fix. This is a tip that I got a long time ago when I was in university, and it works every single time. It works every single time. Let the essay sit for some time, pick it up again, and read it, right? Read it, and you see that you start to see all that. You're like, maybe here I said that I could use it or something. I said she should be he or something. You start to see all the tweaks that you need to do, right? And you can edit it yourself. You let it sit again. You can repeat this process as much as you like. All right. So you can pass it on to somebody who is great, right? But even when you pass it on to somebody who is really good at essays and all of that, right? I recommend that you still check it. You should still check it. It's good to still check your essay. So make sure you're reading your own essays to make sure, even if you give it to somebody, make sure that the edits that they made is good. Because one thing for sure, everyone has their own way of doing things, and what I may recommend to you for tweaks on your essay might not be something that you like. Maybe I will tell you, oh, here you said dog, but you should say cat. Maybe you don't want to say cat. You want to say dog, right? So my tweaks might be useful. I'm good in the English language and I can help you, but it might not be what you're looking for. So you have to still read even after somebody edits it for you. And another thing that people don't put to use, there's so many grammar softwares online. There's so many of them. And I mentioned a few of them in the next slide, I think, or in a few slides from here. There's Grammarly. So I recommend Grammarly. It's free. You just put your essay in there and it will help you to edit your essay, right? And don't put your essay in ChatGTP. My goodness, don't. ChatGTP does not have a human voice. I can tell when ChatGTP writes something. I can. Okay, there's so many instances where people reach out and they're like, hey, can you edit this essay? And you just know. You're just like, did you use ChatGTP? They're like, yes. Because ChatGTP does not have emotional appeal. It doesn't have human voice. It doesn't have human emotions. I mean, it's a bot. It's a bot. It's an AI bot. It can write you essays, but it will not, everybody can tell. If there's somebody who is really good in writing essays and have been doing this thing for a long time, reading essays, and you've been seeing all kinds of essays over the years, you can tell when ChatGTP writes something. It's just, I don't know, it's just like a superpower. You just know when ChatGTP wrote it. Even if they mix it with different things, you can just tell ChatGTP wrote this essay. Some of you are getting away with it at school, but that's because your teachers don't read. And that's really, like, if you're getting away with it, that's just because your teachers don't read. Another thing I want to say is that don't copy essays on the internet. And I'll touch on this later, but let me touch on it now. Don't just go and copy essays. If you have questions, please put it in the chat or just write them down so that we can, you can ask it when we're done, so that we can get out of here really early and on time. All right. So don't go and copy essays online, because we have our own software that we run your essay through. So we always do essay checks, right? And we make sure that your essays are not copied off of the internet. If you copy essay, we're going to know, and we're going to ban you from our program. In the past, we have banned some people. It's really sad when put their essay through the software and like they've copied 80%, 90%, 100%, 50%, even 30% of the essay from online somewhere. If you copy, we will find out. There is not a hole on the internet, a key on the internet that we don't know about or that our software can fish out. There are plagiarism softwares everywhere. We have our own one that we're going to use. Trust me, you don't want to do that. All right. And again, Grammarly, it's a good software. It's free. Use it to check your grammar. All right. Some of you, you're not really good in grammar. That's okay. Right. You're he and she and this and they, all of them go together. For you, everything goes together, right? And that's fine. We're not all strong in writing essays. That's okay. Use a grammar software checker to help you to edit your essay. All right. One of our essays, the first one says 500 words or more. Okay, 500 words or more. Some of you write 300 words, 200 words, 100 words. Oh my goodness. No, you want to meet the word count. You want to go above it, never below it. You want to write at least 500, right? I mean, why should you write 400 when it clearly says 500, right? So make sure that you're meeting the word count. It's good to go above it, never good to go below it. All right. Some of you will say 500 words is about a page or two. So I'm going to increase the font size and make the words really, really big. Please don't do that because we're still going to run your essay through our software and make sure that you meet the word count. All right. So make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're not going to fool anyone. All right. Don't center your essay. When you write an essay, it's not just for our scholarship. Again, this is just professional tips that I'm giving you. Don't center it. Always use right align. You want to align it to the right. When you're formatting your essay, do right align. I wish I could show you guys on a software here, but maybe at the end I can. I don't know. And always pick traditional font. Some of you will use these curly font, fancy font, gang sign fonts, and all of these crazy ones. Stick to the general ones. Times New Roman is really good. All right. And if somebody can type what these names I'm mentioning in the chat for me, Bright, can you type them for me? I'll be grateful. All right. Times New Roman is really good. Calibri is really good. I think Helvetica is really good. There's not a single application that you're going to use to write your essay that doesn't have Times New Roman or Arial. Arial, Times New Roman, Helvetica, Calibri. These are everywhere. These are traditional fonts that would never fail you. It would never, it's like Gary, it would never fail you. Gary would never fail you. Okay, it will never fail you. So you want to make sure that you're sticking to these traditional fonts. Don't go and use some fancy, just because you're a graphic designer, use fancy font. No. You're going to just stop. Just stop. Okay. All right. So let's talk more on formatting. Always stick to a 12-point font size. 12 is what you want to stick to. You don't want to go bigger than 12. You don't want to go smaller than 12. Smaller than 12 is hard to read. Bigger than 12 is it just looks like a cartoon. Don't do that. Stick to 12 point. Again, Times New Roman or Arial, any of the ones that Bright just posted in the chat, you can use. Helvetica, Arial, Times New Roman, Calibri, all of them are really good. Your margin, when it comes to your margin should be 1 inch, okay? Some of you won't even apply to our scholarship, but you're interested in going to school outside. These rules still apply to all your essays. Center your title. If you have a title on your essay, okay? If you're one of those people who like titles, you have a title on your essay, center the title. Your essay is going to be right aligned, all right? But your title has to be centered. Center it, okay? You can either bold or underline your title. When it comes to title, never do bold. If you bold your title, don't underline, right? And if you underline, don't bold it, okay? Do one or the other. This is also a tip that I got a long time ago that I still use. Always indent your new paragraphs. Some of you will be writing and everything looks like it's together. We can't even see where the new paragraph starts because everything just looks like it's together. No, indent new paragraph. Make sure you're indenting all the new paragraphs so we know when the paragraph ends, when it starts and when it ends, all right? All right. When it comes to saving your essay, all right, always save your essay in a PDF format. Nobody can re-edit your essay this way, right? It's easier. It's just easy, right? Save it in a PDF format. When you're applying to a program, you're not the only one applying. A lot of people apply, and all of these administrators and stuff, they have to download your essay and read it and grade it and do whatever with it. What you want to do is save your essay this way. So when you go to save your essay, you want to save it first name underscore your last name, or you can just put your first name and your last name and just put essay. All right. First name, last name, essay. This is good. I'm giving you the master key today. This is a good way to do it, because even when they lose your essay, they can just type in your name on their computer and easily find your essay. If your essay was saved as 123401223, how are they going to find it? It's just really hard to find your essay. But when you just save it as your name, it's easier to find your essay if they lose it. If they lose your essay on their computer, on their machine or somewhere, it's easier for them to find it. So you want to make sure that you're saving your essay this way. If you have multiple essays, you can even, so if you're doing this for Dream Hive Scholarship, but you also have other essays that you've written for different organizations, you can do, I'm going to pick somebody here, Victor _ Jan _ Dream Hive Scholarship essay. You can do Victor _ Jan _ Dream Hive Scholarship 1 to symbolize the first one, to differentiate between, so that you know this is for Dream Hive Scholarship, and this one is for Kufuor Scholarship, this one is for MasterCard, this one is for this school that I'm applying to. You can differentiate your essays that way, and then you're going to save it as a PDF. Don't be clueless. All right, don't be clueless. Don't be clueless. Go online and search how to do this. Search online how to save a document as PDF. Search it online. There's not a single thing you can learn from online. You can learn everything. So don't act clueless. I don't know how to do it. You can learn it. It's really simple, right? So let's talk about Microsoft Word. Everybody knows Microsoft Word, and most of us know Google Docs. Google Docs is free, all right? And Microsoft Word is free too. They have a free version. I think they also have an online version. And I think if you have a student ID, you're able to get a premium version for free. I don't know, but you want to double check this, all right? So when you're using Google Docs or Microsoft Word, they also have their own grammar checks that they do, but they sometimes miss certain things. So you want to make sure that you're still checking things and you're doing your own grammar checks and stuff. And like I mentioned, Grammarly is there. There's Grammar Lookup, Sentence Checkup. There are all kinds of free grammar checks online. Again. Do not use any AI bots. It drives me insane when people submit something and you can just tell they used AI bots. Please don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Write your own essay with your own words and don't copy from online. Just use Bees, Grammarly, or anything to, help with your grammar. All right? So this is how you can save it. Remember when I mentioned the PDF? This is what I'm talking about. So when you click on Save As on your computer, something like this is going to pop up. Okay, something like this will pop up. When you look at the Save As type, you're going to click on there. No, not like that. Okay, you're going to click on there. This is a picture. You're going to click on there, and then you're going to scroll down till you see PDF. You're going to select PDF. When you're on Google Docs, I think you're going to go to download, and then there's an option to download as PDF. Okay, I'm not sure, but I need to double check. Okay, but there's something like that. So on your computer, if you're using Microsoft Word or something like that, you're going to, I'll touch on there now. I'll touch on there. I just want to get through this, and then we can use all the time that we can to answer questions. All right. So you're going to save this as a PDF. And right here, when it comes to your file name, you're going to type in your name. Like I said, Victor, and I'm not telling all of you to go type Victor underscore Jam. I'm just using him as an example because he's at the top of, when I see my screen and the list of people, he's the first person I see. So that's why I'm using it. Don't go and type Victor underscore Jan when your name is okay? Don't do that. Priscilla, don't do that. All right, John, don't do that. Don't go type in Victor. We'll just be giving Victor the credit. Victor, that means you'll be getting lots of scholarships. Just getting scholarships left, right. Okay. All right. So don't go give Victor the credit. All right. Just type in your own name, first name underscore last name, or you can just put first name dash last name, or just together. It doesn't even matter. Okay. All right. So when it comes to general questions, all right. These are some questions that people ask us, and some of you did not attend our last info session or did not see our video, so you might have some of these questions. So we provide financial support. That's what we do, and that's what students say. But our biggest thing that we do is we try to prepare students for the global job market, okay? And you guys are going to be sick of me saying this thing over and over again. I know some of our past students are on this call, and if you hear me say this word over and over again, global job market. Okay, yeah, we try to prepare you for the job market. It's not all the skills that you can learn in school. School doesn't teach you all the skills. And before you say, some of you have this notion that if you school outside of Ghana, that you learn all the skills you need. No, I came to the US when I was a little girl. I came to, primary school here, high school, university. It didn't teach me all the skills I need. So it doesn't matter where you school, you're still going to be missing some skills. And we focus on filling in those skills so that you're ready for the global job market. All right. And some of you might have a question, and I will cover that question shortly. And this is about priority. If you've been on our website, you're like, what is priority? I'll focus on that in a second. All right. So like I just mentioned, it's not just about paying your fees. We want to make sure that you can use your degree to create a better life for yourself, but then also that you have the skills, right? So we focus on weekly meetings. We teach different things. We teach you how to write your resume. We teach you. Last year we had a business accelerator, right? So we're trying to get you to form real startup businesses, right? We're trying to build that in you so that you can be better than where you even expected to be. All right. We have our mentorship program going and all kinds of stuff. Okay. So our scholarship is for people who are, if you're a high school student who just graduated from high school, you're about to enter university, we're here for you. Come on in. We're here for you. All right. If you're a university student, you're going to a public university. Same for the high school students. If you're going to be attending a public university, we don't support private school students. Public university, and you have to be pursuing a 4-year degree, 4 or more. I know pharmacy is like 5, and medicine is higher than 5. I don't know, 6, 7. I don't know, but 4 or more, your first degree, 4 or more years, we're here for you. Public school, public university, 4 more years, we're here for you. All right. Okay. Now this is the question for the your friend is saying priority. All right. We do select some list of courses, but we also do say that everybody should apply, because we have people from different programs in our program, in our scholarship. We have people doing agricultural studies. We have people doing political science. We have people doing all kinds of stuff, right? We have people doing all sorts of degree. Their degree is not listed in the select program. So why are they in there? They're in there because they just had a good application. This is what we look for, but this is not where we stop, right? And there's this notion that just because you're in this list, automatically you'll get in. No, that's not how it works. Your essay has to check out. We check every single application that comes through. We give everybody the same amount of time. We give everybody the same amount of energy and everything. We give you all the same amount of everything, and we check your essays. We grade fairly and all of these things. All right. And I'll talk about priority in a second, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand, just because you're not pursuing some of the degrees here, or just because you're not pursuing a technical degree or a math-based degree does not mean that you cannot get a scholarship. Because again, we have people pursuing agriculture degrees, right? I think we have two or three students pursuing agriculture, and then we have some doing political studies or political science or something, right? So we don't just pick tech people. We have business, people also. So it's not just tech people. We try to focus on this area because it's easier for us to groom you, to prepare you, because we know a lot of opportunities in this area, right? When it comes to computer science and engineering, we know how to find opportunities for you. It gets harder when you're doing another degree for us to find opportunities for you because we don't have any expertise in those fields. I don't have any expertise in medicine, right? So I'm not going to know how to find medical opportunities abroad for you. I'm not going to know how to do that. But if you're doing computer science, I know how to shape you and build you up to be a really good, software engineer when you graduate. Right. And the same with everybody on our committee, and the same with the mentors that we have. And that's why we have this select program. But it does not mean that, you guys should not apply, or that we don't pick people who are not in technology. All right. So all that we ask for is that you demonstrate how you're going to use your degree. Every single person that we picked, even the one who said they were doing agriculture, we picked them because they demonstrated how they were going to use their degree and how they're working towards their degree. Right? We have people who spend their time practicing what they've learned in school on break, right? And using the things that and I'll give one example. We have one guy doing agriculture at Legon, and he's really into agriculture, right? He's really, really into agriculture. He shows his farm on his status every day. Not every day, but a lot of times, right? And he uses the things that they teach him at school. He uses it every single day on his farm, right? And so in his essay, he clearly he said his parents are farmers, and that's all he's known. So he had a choice, and he had really good WASI scores too. He didn't have to go into agriculture, but he chose agriculture because he loves the field, right? And he wants to learn how to be a better farmer, or to have to do something bigger in the agriculture sector. So he chose it, and you can clearly see it in how much he loves farming. Like in his videos that he puts and everything, you can see it, right? And there's no reason why we're not going to pick somebody like that. Even though they're doing agriculture, they demonstrate a clear path to how they're going to use their degree when they're done, right? So of course you're going to pick him, because it's all about demonstrating how you're going to use your degree. All right. So you want to, we don't only give priority to STEM students, is what I'm saying, right? As long as you explain really clearly, you're good. All degrees are good. You don't, like I said, you don't have to do a STEM degree. You just have to have a plan for your degree. All right. And I know not everybody on here is going to get a scholarship. We have very limited spots. All right. Limited spots. So we're not going to pick a whole lot of you. There are 24 people right now, I think. We're not going to pick 25 now. Okay. Not all 25 are going to get scholarships. And even if all 25 of you got scholarships, we are going to get way more than 25 applications, right? So you don't want to, you might not get a scholarship, right? You might not get a scholarship, but you don't want to think you're not good enough, or that it was because of your degree or something, that you could do everything right, and because of the competition, because of how competitive our program is, you just might not get a scholarship, and that's okay, right? That's okay. It has nothing to do with it. I don't want you guys to take it personal. All right. We don't want you to take it personal if you're not selected. That's what I'm saying. All right. So let me touch on this. Just because you're doing a STEM degree does not mean you're going to get into our program. All right. Just because some of these STEM students come in with the worst essays. All right. Some of these, like someone doing political science, agriculture, and their essay is crazy. It's good. It's just mind blowing. It's like really, you can tell they put a lot of time and energy. And somebody is doing computer science, computer engineering, and the essay is just, oh my goodness, right? You just want to rip it apart because it's that bad. Sorry. So just because you're doing a STEM degree does not mean you're going to just get in. No, you still have to do everything. We still check all the essays. We're not here to give free things, right? Free scholarships. No, 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 no. All right. So where does priority come in? Priority comes in when somebody is doing, let's say, like fashion, okay, and then somebody else is doing, say, computer science or computer engineering. They go through the process. They submit the application. We read the essay. Both of them come for interview. Um, and let's say that they score the same. At the end of the day, when we grade them, they're all at the same scale, 75, 75 or something, or maybe 90 or something. And we have to pick one. We're going to go with the technical person. Why? Because we can better support that person, right? Our program can better support. We started this to support technical students. But of course, we support other students too, as I just spoke about a few minutes ago, right? But when it comes to a neck and neck situation, which it never is, I don't think we've ever had to use this priority thing because it's always very clear when we sort the grades. There's never a competition. There's never two people having the same score. It's really just clear, right? And then another thing that we've been doing is giving partial scholarship. So even when we meet the quota that we have, we try to give partial scholarship to a few more students so that those students can also have something to support their education. So we have our numbers, but we still try to do more than what we even set out to do. All right. Um, so let's talk about some other opportunities. These are some other opportunities out there. I think this second, I never know how to pronounce the second one. I think it's Sheridan or something. I don't know. But they support schools in Europe. So if you plan on going to university, like continuing education outside of Ghana, you want to check it out because I think they support higher education in Europe or something like that. So you want to write it down so you can have it. Okay. But MasterCard Foundation supports students in Ghana. And I know Kufo Scholarship also does same. All right. So these are some other opportunities to apply for. Listen, I'm going to tell you this every single day if you know me, and that is that you never put all your eggs in one basket. I would apply to every single scholarship out there that supports Ghanaian students and just hope that I win one. You never put all your eggs in one basket. All right. All right. So if you guys are not on LinkedIn, you should get on LinkedIn. All right. And if you are on LinkedIn and if you're not in, you get there at some point, you should follow these pages. SEO Africa posts a lot of opportunities, right? Right now they're doing something crazy, right? So you want to go ahead and follow them on LinkedIn. There's a scholarship program or there's a program called My Scholars Hub on LinkedIn. This is really good. I've come to know them. If you have any siblings who are actually in high school right now and they'll be graduating next year, you definitely want them to check out My Scholars Hub. They have an amazing program that is grooming and shaping high school students and trying to help them to apply to schools in Ghana and outside of Ghana. One of their guys, they just started last year, I think, and one of their guys already got admission to a university in the US. And a couple of their people have also gotten full scholarships, through the MasterCard Foundation. So they're doing amazing. They're doing amazing. You should check them out. And there are lots of opportunities out there on LinkedIn. If you're not on there, you should get on there. This is just free advice. And of course, you should follow our social media pages. I'll come to this in a second. But you should follow our social media pages because why not? We're friends. That's what friends do. You follow us on social media and we tell you about all the good stuff out there. All right, so you should follow us. All right, so Bank of America has an internship and full-time opportunities. This slide is from last year, but it still holds true. Okay, so Bank of America, SEO Africa is where you can find all of these informations. Okay, so you want to go and check this out. All right. This is something that I found on the internet as well. I think it can help some of you. They have a fellowship. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but you should check it out. All right. And then Yale Young Global Scholars is something that I also found. It's for high school students. All right. So high school second year, sophomore is your second year, and junior is your third year. And I know in Ghana it's tricky because in Ghana we only have 3 years. So your second or your third year, all right, you want to go ahead and apply. And NOBED is an organization. I think they're in Kumasi, and they also do something like what my friend does. They take high school students who just graduated and they try to help them with SAT prep and all of these things so that they can apply. Um, they can apply to schools outside of Ghana and stuff like that. So again, if you have any high school grads or you have any students in high school who will be graduating really soon, you want to go ahead and tell them about this organization. Okay. And of course, I'm going to give more advice. So I want you guys to, this is not scholarship related. This is not anything. I'm just here. Okay. I just want to tell you guys, please, one more for yourselves. All right. Want more for yourselves. There's so many opportunities out there. I want you guys to dream bigger, right? Dream big and dream past the borders of Ghana, right? If your dream is limited to Ghana, you're doing it wrong, because we were always meant to dream bigger than the country we are in. Dream bigger than Ghana. Dream past the borders of Ghana. I said this last time and somebody was like, okay, I don't have a passport. And I was like, that's why dreaming is free. Okay, dreaming is free. You don't need a passport to dream beyond the borders of Ghana. All right, getting out of Ghana is where you need the passport. But, and please mute yourselves, or I'm going to have to mute you or remove you. Okay, so when it comes to you, don't be complacent. Always learn. Always be hungry to learn. Always want to better yourself. Some of you are okay with just getting a degree. That worries me, because that shouldn't be the case, right? That should never be the case. You should be learning, Okay, I'm trying to mute. Okay, good. The person muted themselves. You should be learning and doing more than what you're taught in school, teaching yourself skills. You should know how to write a resume. There are little things that you should know how to do. You should know how to talk professionally. You should know how to professionally communicate to somebody. This is very Ghanaian of us. We are so, like, every time, please, and please, and please, and please. You shouldn't, that's not professional communication. You should know how to professionally communicate. When it comes to looking professional, it's not always suit and tie. You should know your colors. You should know some colors that work, some colors that don't work. You should know how to show a grooming, all of these things. There's some things that school won't teach you, but you should take it upon yourself and go out there and learn. I'll say one thing. The world is moving towards technology. And this is my free advice. We're going to do the Q&A in a second, but I just want to give this free advice. The world is moving towards technology, all right? So every single sector is going to connect to technology one way or the other, all right? So I don't know if Jafta is still on this call. He's doing materials science or materials engineering at KNUST, and he's so into data. He's not doing math. He's not doing computer science. He's not even doing data science. He's doing an engineering course. But part of his course required them to do research and required them to do data analytics. And because of that, the guy is crazy about data analytics. And just like that, he has found a path into a different area in tech that can make him so much money, right? So again, look at your degree. Look at how your degree combines with tech. If you're doing business, if you're in school for business, you can become a project manager. You can become a product manager. You can become a program manager, right? You can become a business analyst. So many. And all of these are technical things, technical jobs that you can get outside of Ghana, right? And make so much money. So dream beyond the borders of Ghana, please do that, okay? One more for yourself. Don't be lazy and always go with the bare minimum. All right. So like I said, if you're not on LinkedIn, get on there. All right. You want to follow people who are doing amazing things. If you need a list, please send us an email. We don't mind. Send us a message on social media. We will give you some, So yes. And then also stay in the loop. We send emails out all the time. If you subscribe to our newsletter, stay in the loop. All right. So this is how you can reach us. We are available. Contact at dhscholarship.org. We're on Facebook, Dream Hive Scholarship, Instagram, Dream Hive Scholarship, Twitter, Dream Hive GH. We're also on LinkedIn, Dream Hive Scholarship, and we are on YouTube, Dream Hive Scholarship. So you can reach us at all of these places. We're ready for Q&A, one at a time, please. Let me get it in the chat.